Greetings, YouTube. I've spoken about the Libertarian Party here on my channel before. Quick recap, I'm not a fan. I consider it to be the most toxic political movement in America at the moment. February 6th was Hedgehog Day, apparently. Happy Porcupine Day, whatever they want to call it. You see, there's a free state movement in New Hampshire. And 14 years ago, a bunch of people said if we can get 20,000 people to pledge to move to one particular place in New Hampshire, when we hit that 20,000 mark, all of us are going to move to this town and essentially take it over. Become the political majority in this, creating a libertarian utopia. If you'd like to see an actual libertarian utopia, please look at Somalia. And they're right in the regards, if 20,000 of them were to actually show up, they would make a political movement quite a bit similar to when I sit on the toilet, I make a bowel movement. There's a correlation there, folks. Because whatever the libertarians are going to do is just going to shit on my state. Because remember, I live in the state of New Hampshire, and this project is based on the state of New Hampshire. And there was... I'm going to link to a Metafilter thread on this because I love those folks. And the final comment, I always read the latest one just to see what the people have been saying since it was originally posted. And this was posted on the 5th. It says, I would have more respect for libertarians if they didn't seem to do stuff like this all the time. And I don't remember what they're referring to. But the reply to that statement is what is the money shot here. If government fails, it's because government is incompetent. If government succeeds, the free market could have done a better job for less money. If the free market succeeds, it's because the free market is awesome! If the free market fails, then it's either because government regulations kept us from having a free market, so it doesn't count, or it's not a failure because the outcome is what the market chose, which is a success by definition. So that really sums up the cognitive dissonance that is required to wrap one's head around the libertarian political movement. Now, there's one thing many people have noticed over the years, is that the majority of people involved in this tend to be white dudes. A lot of white dudes in America feel disenfranchised, with just cause. Unless you're in the 1%, you are disenfranchised. But a lot of white dudes felt enfranchised for their entire existence. Their fathers felt enfranchised, their grandfathers, their great-grandfathers, all the way back until when the first white people showed up and just took over, murdering and killing and slaving and what have you, because that's what Europeans did when they got here. Remember, the history of the United States is based on slavery and genocide. And now they're just realizing, gee, I don't have the same political might that my father and my grandfather did. I wonder why that is. And so they were fertile ground for the 1% spreading the libertarian political movement and convincing them that what is holding them back is the big brother government. That if you could just get that big brother government out of the way, which, by the way, would benefit no one more than the 1%, then they would finally be able to show the world that they are true captains of industry. That it's just that horrible boogeyman regulations that's keeping them from achieving their true greatness, which is, of course, all bullshit. The reality is that we are worse off now because of 40 years of machinations on the behalf of the 1%. They have spent decades doing everything they can to undermine the power of the middle class. And there was no segment of America that was more firmly entrenched in middle class than white Americans. So that disenfranchisement that so many white Americans are feeling, particularly white men, is that fallout from the work done by the 1%, who the Libertarian Party slavishly worships, kissing their feet at every opportunity. Because they've also been convinced that, well, if you're in the 1%, you're in the 1% because you're morally right. That if you have those huge amounts of cash, which you're sitting on and not doing anything with, to the tune of over trillions, that you must have got it because you are morally and ethically pure, not because you've rigged the system in your favor and continue to rig it to the point where democracy is no longer needed by the 1% to achieve their ends. Democracy is now kind of an impediment, and the 99 is now kind of in the way. I mean, they'll continue to milk them until they finally get to the point where true automation will make even the 99 superfluous. But when they get to the point where they don't need humans to harvest the resources of the world, well, then even the delusions of the Libertarian Party won't stand up any longer. But in the meantime, those delusions will serve the 1% well. And these free staters are going to come to my state. They're not going to be 20,000 of them, but there will be enough to screw up whatever political structure they decide to crap on. Because that's what they're going to do. It's disheartening. It's depressing that even more of these people are going to show up in my state and spread their delusional fantasies. It's particularly timely, however, that I'm filming this video at the same point where there are still 4 patriots on a bird refuge convinced that they're going to take on the U.S. government. And my last comment is that even if this project were to succeed, and you were able to have 20,000 libertarians in one place, and they were to completely and utterly destroy the area they live in because their policies would do that, they're just parasites. Because the rest of us around them are not going to let them suffer and die in the cold. We are going to save their delusional asses when their project fails. They are parasites. They are angry teens that have convinced themselves if they go in their room and lock the door that they don't have to pay attention to what mom and dad have to say. And it doesn't work that way. We're all in this together, and if we don't work together as one great cooperative group, we are all going to fail. So instead of saying, that doesn't work, we're just going to strike out on our own when there is no on your own to go to, why don't we work together and do what you can to make the world a better place? Because we're all in this together, brothers and sisters. I wish the libertarians could figure that out.